Even as Catholics view their own faith as immutable and ultimate, other faiths, well, everyone else out there seems to have a difference of opinion. This video is about how others view the Catholic Church. I used to discuss and debate religion with many of my non-Catholic friends, and quite often the perception of the Catholic Church would be a hindrance to our conversations. Catholics were viewed as polytheists, worshiping false idols or saints, and often putting Mary up on far, far too high of a pedestal, or even worshiping her herself as a goddess. The variation of saints that we Catholics pray to was confusing to most non-Catholics, as was the distinction between veneration and worship. This confusion led some to declare that Catholics were not Christians because we worship multiple gods, a stance that was a complete straw man of our beliefs and views. It simply was not true. I noticed many of the views of Catholics centered around doctrinal disputes and historic animosity towards the Catholic Church. We were considered to have corrupted the teachings of Jesus, and thus the Reformation had actually led people back to what the teachings of Jesus were meant to be. People would then bring up the Inquisition or the Crusades and give these as examples of people systematically being tortured and executed and imprisoned, all for not agreeing with the Catholic faith. This, as well as the selling of indulgences and relics, were often given as reasons why the Catholic Church needed to be reformed in the first place. I remember once being told that Catholics shared a collective guilt for the Holocaust, as the Catholic Church had been the first entity to sign a treaty with Nazi Germany in the Reichskonkordat of 1933. We were called anti-Semitic, a term that I had never heard of, although now I understand the criticism. We were looked at oddly by other people, as we often came from large families, myself being the middle child of 7 children. Before the Duggars were ever popular on TV, Catholics were the ones who were known to have large families, and I myself knew several families that had more than 12 children, one that had 17. Often people would find out how many kids were in my family, and then they would laugh and go, Mormon or Catholic? But the single biggest issue that seemed to come up was our praying the rosary and our devotion to Mary, Jesus' mother. Many people didn't understand the repeating of prayers on the beads and would accuse us of violating the words of the Bibles when it spoke out against the repetitious chanting of some cultures. We were called cult-like, and when the sex abuse scandal hit the media, we were looked at as complicit in child rape. And just for the record, I was an altar boy, and I was never molested. So stop thinking that. So yes, we were viewed very differently than how we viewed ourselves. And it seems that people had such animosity or different views of us because of events in the past and the people behind those events. I hope you stick with me in this series as I go and examine those places and time in the history of the Catholic Church. I will be exploring more, not just the events and the people behind it, but also the beliefs and the views of the Catholic Church and how they have changed through the ages. And once again, thank you for watching. My lips look really red. I look pale with really red lips.